ships. You have a ban in place right now, on foreign research vessels.
Yes.
That's the official term. Everyone calls them spy ships. You're going to be lifting this ban in January next year. Why? Because I imagine the pushback from New Delhi and DC would be huge. They must be calling you.
Yeah, we haven't told that we are going to lift it, but we have said that there is right now, there is a moratorium on research ship, but that doesn't mean that we will be eternally having a moratorium and not doing research. Being a maritime important strategic countries, we will do it when we are ready. Right now, what we are doing is to improve our capacity building. So toward the end of this period, we will assess at that point in time. There is a possibility to lift, there is a possibility to extend it. That will all depend on the circumstances at that point in time and whether we have been able to build sufficient capacity to do so.
Right. So it's not confirmed yet at this point?
No. At this point, we haven't. We told that toward the end of the year, we will reassess it.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that, Minister. And in this era of geopolitical competition, there are concerns your country has become a battleground in this part of the region, Indo Pacific, with major powers, namely U.S., China, and India. Is it getting more challenging for Sri Lanka to juggle its relationship with all these strategic partners with competing interests? And how is Sri Lanka managing this very intricate and tricky balancing act?
So, in fact, I see that as an opportunity. Why they are looking at us? Because we are important. Why we are important? Because our location is strategic. So, with that, with those importance come opportunities, and of course, opportunities come with challenges. Right. We need to carefully navigate those challenges. One thing is clear for Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka will not take sides. We will not be an ally of any group, whether Western or Eastern. We will continue to be an independent country. We will talk to and discuss with countries as a sovereign equal, and we will decide, we will take decisions which suit Sri Lanka and which suits the region, which will de-escalate the tension, which will, in compliance with our obligation as a respected partner of the international community, and also somebody who aspire to be a regional hub on maritime security. For that, we have obligation in terms of the UNCLOS to support the freedom of navigation. So freedom of navigation for all countries, not for certain countries. So we will be not selecting on that. So our legacy had been an independent country, will continue to do so.
Oh, that said, I understand what you're saying, Minister, but you are in a somewhat vulnerable position. You obviously need aid, you need the investments to come in. So I'm wondering, how do you, deal with issues of accusations like this is a debt trap, or, this deal is unfair, or it's a port is going to be used as a resupply base for a foreign navy? How do you deal with that? And is it your position that you will continue to accept projects like Port City Colombo and Hambantota, which is, of course, the center of some controversial reports in the past?
Controversial for whom? It depends on who is making that narrative. As far as we are concerned, there is no controversy at all. This is a commercial investment. Commercially, most of these projects have been open to everyone. These are not being given to a specific country. And most of these things are won by open tender. So what do you want to do? If you want to be a regional hub and want to be commercially viable, can you close your borders and wait? You got to open that up. That's how you become a hub. That's how you become commercially important, and that's how you want to exploit it. So it doesn't matter from which country investment are coming in. But at our terms, as far as the Hambantota Port City is one of the totally misquoted story in the world. The Hambantota port is Sri Lankan-owned port. It's still controlled by Sri Lanka Ports Authority. We decide which ships to come and which ship to go. But only thing is, commercial operation had been leased out. Similarly, we have leased out our terminals to Japanese companies in Colombo, to Indian companies are building one, and there are many other investors coming in. So it's only when talk about China, people create this controversy. So therefore, we have good relationship with both East and the West. Like Singapore, we need East and the West. So therefore, we would welcome any investment from any country as a strategic partner. Of course, very, very important for us is to not to fall into any trap, and also to identify what is good for Sri Lanka. No longer we would be getting debt and supporting investment. We would like to have partnership, JVs, and investment, so that we will continue to have our debt sustainability after we regaining it after 2 years of a turmoil.
And Minister, I would also like to touch upon another sensitive issue involving Sri Lanka abroad. We understand Sri Lanka has asked Russia to allow its former soldiers who are engaged in Moscow's war against Ukraine to return home voluntarily. How is that discussion going, and what's the key hurdle?
Actually, Sri Lanka did not have any role to play on that. Individually, some of our ex-soldiers who are now no longer being the part of the military had on their own volition, probably driven by the economic situation in the country, had gone, not official channels, not registered with our Foreign Employment Bureau, gone on some tourist visas and joined the military and all those things. So what we are right now trying to do is to get them back to Sri Lanka, and also whoever who are injured, try to treat them. So, and then we have put a total ban, and I'm glad that after the discussion with the Foreign Minister Lavrov, he had agreed that no more recruitment will take place. And our embassy, the Russian embassy in Colombo had said that they will not give any tourist visa on which they were going earlier to any ex-soldiers of the Sri Lankan military, or anyone for that matter, without the clearance from the Foreign Ministry.
Minister, Sri Lanka supports a two-state solution for the Israel-Palestinian war. I'm wondering, and I know there are a lot of differences, but I'm wondering if you see, anything that can be applied from the country's own long struggle previously in Vani and in the Jaffna Peninsula that perhaps might help resolve this conflict.
So only thing is we need to have a discussion altogether. As far as Sri Lanka is concerned, we have to fight one of the most ruthless terrorist organizations in the world, but we did it with dignity while protecting our community and the people. That's why at the end of the civil war, people did not run out of the country. They came towards the military forces because they have been used by LTT at that time as a shield. We knew that 80% of food which we sent to the north and east to feed our citizens were going to the LTT, but we did not starve our population. It's a different, they always good way of looking after your own people. The difference was we were not fighting against a section of the population, we were fighting against a terrorist group. What is important is we need to have a negotiated settlement, finally come to the solution, that two-state solution become really a reality. Until that happens, I think there will be always a problem. What we are asking is just give effect to 1967 borders and the UN resolution. That's all. So if you do that, there will be two states sitting next to each other, living in peace.
Finally, Minister, I just want to ask you about efforts to, I guess, make the country attractive again, not to investors, but to visitors. And this is a true story. My uncle and auntie went every year for a long time before the crisis happened back in 2022. I'm asking you, what efforts are being made to attract people like that who love the country's beaches, who just basically love the country? I mean, is it ready to accept people again?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, we are ready. And actually, there had been a 100% increment from 2022 to 23 and 23 to 24. People are coming back and we are ready. And tourism is a mature product. And of course, there are a lot of investment we are seeking, some from Singapore also. So we are asking the people from the region, from Singapore and the region, to visit Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is ready. Sri Lanka is providing a very good product altogether in a very small landscape. You have beautiful beaches. We have excellent highlands. And we also have UNICEF certified heritage sites, and the people of Sri Lanka is the biggest strength, and they are very, very friendly. You know that. And then, so we are really waiting to welcome many more tourists to come.
Absolutely beautiful country, but as an island nation in the middle of the Indian Ocean, Sri Lanka is vulnerable to climate change, Minister.
Yes.
So I wonder, what initiative is your country undertaking to mitigate and adapt to a climate crisis?
No, very good question. Basically, we are having a very ambitious plan to make 70% of our renewable energy by 2030, our energy supply by renewable energy by 2030. We are well on course on that. We have a very, very ambitious plan as far as getting fossil fuel out of equation. And we are also having a lot of plan in order to reduce the emission. We want to be carbon neutral by 2050, and as well as like a lot of investment on sustainable tourism and exploit our massive ocean resources there. And we also have an ambitious plan, and we, in fact, recently UN recognized us for our work on preservation as well as so many of seaweeds and things like that. So a lot of concerted effort is going on to preserve our country.
Okay, Minister, we leave it there. We thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
And we've been speaking with Sri Lankan Foreign Affairs Minister Ali Sabry.